Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of frankspectorlaw.com. I like to give tips to young lawyers so you can become a better medical malpractice lawyer. I was fortunate enough to have mentors who helped me, and I want to pass that on to you. One of the questions that I get from time to time is whether it's worth it to hire somebody to run your computer during trial. Now, many of you who are watching this video who are younger are very familiar with computers. And when I was a young lawyer, we really didn't have computers, believe it or not. And so when computers became something to use, I was very skittish about doing it in trial because I wasn't really sure how to use everything. And so I did hire somebody to help me. But now that many of you have so much experience with computers, you grew up with computers, you may think to yourself that you can save the expense and you don't have to hire somebody to do it for you. But let me just share with you some thoughts to maybe give you a different perspective. My name's Frank Spector. I'm a medical malpractice lawyer in Maryland and in DC, and I've been doing this for over 33 years. And I've helped so many people get the justice and compensation that they deserve. I was an adjunct professor at my law school, and I've tried a lot of medical malpractice cases, and I've been where you are. So I hope you find this information valuable. Even though you know how to use a computer, so many things happen during the course of a trial, especially if all of your evidence and all your documents are on a computer and you want to show them to a witness or show them to the jury during your opening or closing arguments. So there's a lot to think of. There's a lot of stress in a trial. Things are happening really fast. Things go unexpected. Sometimes a piece of evidence that you want to put into evidence is not admissible. Sometimes if you want to read maybe a deposition transcript portion, sometimes there's been an objection and some of that has to be redacted. It has to be blacked out. You're not going to be able to read it to the jury. And it's really helpful to have somebody behind the scenes who can work a computer and who can make changes for you, because you may have everything put into your computer kind of pre-programmed, but things happen and it throws you off. And now you're worrying about trying to make edits to your computer. You're trying to deal with your computer, and it's just something that you don't need to put on yourself. Also, sometimes the wireless connections in the courtroom are not so reliable, and sometimes things go offline, or sometimes you may need a backup because things can happen, and the judge is not going to wait for you, and the jury gets very frustrated. And I can tell you, because it's happened to me, that when things don't go right with your technology, even though something may only be a few seconds of a delay, it feels like a lifetime, and you are really stressing about it. So yes, it is an added expense, but I think that if you have somebody there to work this technology for you, it can even be somebody from your office. It doesn't have to be a hired vendor. I've had situations where other lawyers tell me that they have somebody who's very computer knowledgeable come with them to trial and work the computers behind the scenes. So it doesn't have to be a tremendous expense. But I do recommend that you think about doing this because you don't want to put all that burden on yourself. Hope you found this information valuable. If you did, and if you're new here, please hit that like and subscribe button below, because I want you to be able to take advantage of all of my free videos. I have a YouTube channel, and all that information is free to you. Thanks again for watching. I look forward to seeing you again on another episode.